Okay, had a bit of an issue. This time we ran out of battery. So, I started to talk about, I believe I just talked about Chris Gibson. He was my 8th grade teacher in my 2nd year of 8th grade. That's Chris. In the background is a kid named Tony Morrison, but Chris literally saved my life, and I do want to do a video just about him. So I'm going to hold off on that. This is my California driver's handbook, and this is from when I was 16. Back on is July 1983. Holy cow. 93, 2003. 34 years ago? That doesn't even seem possible. I guess it was. Wow-wee. I saved that because driving was the biggest thing to me. It was like I was waiting for freedom almost. I might seem tired because it's now like midnight and I'm still doing this, but I wanted to get it kind of done. These were some drawings by Nathaniel Gardner. I've never looked up Nathaniel Gardner, but they were probably just school drawings. And I just always found them fascinating. I found them at a garage sale, and they seem really old. Classic. So anyway, I've always found them interesting, and I would like to actually model some and create them in 3D just kind of in honor of this guy. And I have no idea who he is, but they're just interesting sketches. Probably, like I said, part of his class assignments or something. But anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. So I've saved these for years as well. Back when things were hand done. This little packet of papers here, it's like, yeah, this is boring. You open it up and it's some numbers, and it's got inside a little bit semi-annual stuff. It has really simple graphs, as you can probably see. See the best way for you to see them, really. Nothing too exciting. Anyway, this was way back in the day. It was, I think, my freshman year, January 1982 through December 1985. So these were doctor's admissions and patient days totaled semi-annually. This is when I volunteered my time for Robert Griffith, age 17. The program used to build this packet was written for the IBM PC. Anyway, it's kind of cool because this was like one of my early on projects that I did with computers, and nobody really knew how to use computers in 1985. So when I went to the hospital, Scott Altman was the hospital administrator, and I was this 17-year-old kid, and here's this hospital administrator that just thinks it's the coolest thing ever because I can use a database, and I had to learn how to use it because nobody at the hospital knew how to use a database. And we would put all this information in, the number of days each doctor had in the hospital, the number of deaths that happened under that specific doctor. And this was kind of the early days of statistical analysis, and it would really show that some doctors, like here is OBGYN totals for admissions, and it was a way for them to really kind of see who was doing well and who wasn't. And like I said, this was brand new stuff. Boring, I know, but for me that was like, it was just, for me, it was something that I knew how to do that doctors couldn't do. And so that was pretty amazing. This is the book about flowers. It has poems. The green grass has a red flower in the green grass. It looks very nice. I'm thinking this is either Megan's or Emily's. It might be Emily's. This kind of looks like something she would have done. I had a rat, it had a butt, oh bat, it hit my cat, and now my cat is flat. Oh my goodness. If you get married and live in a hut, name your first baby Rusty Butt. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's what this is. And it doesn't say who. It looks like there were some pieces of tape on it. I'm wondering if they had their name on it years ago. Alright. This is the most boring videos. Oh, this is when I was at Tops, which was called Take Off Pounds Sensibly. It's when I won my 30-something pound award, and but it's kind of special because it's got some people in here. Every single one of these people have passed. They were some neat old ladies. Anyway, I saved that. Golden Wedding Anniversary. This was Grandpa Vaughn and Tiny, and it's the Hagen Bart's grandparents, and they were a lot like my grandparents for a long time, because the Hagen Bart family was kind of my second family. I was going through a lot, and Bill took me to his house out in Redwood Valley. We're still waiting to find out, with the fires that are going on in Redwood Valley, if their house survived. But the family treated me well, and when I was going through a lot of emotional stuff, they were just there for me, and I'll never forget them. Staff changes at the Daily Journal. This is a newspaper with my brother John when he went to work for the Ukiah Daily Journal. Just a lot of random newspapers and stuff. Hundreds dead in huge quake. This was a big one because this was, I believe, the Loma Prieta earthquake, and I don't even know if it had a sign. I mean, it had a name at the time, but 1989. Dina and I don't know if this is one that has our story in it. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll look later. But Dina and I, we went up there because her grandparents lived up there. And we went there to make sure they were okay. And we ended up helping at the Red Cross, and then delivering food and carrying bags of food for animals and stuff. And it was a surreal experience. And when I take time to go over events and stuff in my life, I think I'll really go over that as well. This is a road map of California. I'm not sure what the road map is for. It was with that newspaper, so maybe it's when we went to San Francisco, but I'm not sure why we had a road map at the time. Anyway, I'll put that in there. Here is the Ukiah highlight, 1983 to 84. So this is back when I was in high school. I'm not sure why I would have saved it. I don't believe I was ever in the newspaper in high school. But, you know, it's possible. Man, the 80s were terrible. Oh, brother. I like how it's the high school newspaper, and there's cigarettes right there. That's like part of the high school thing. We actually had a smoking section in the high school where people could stand in this square and smoke. Oh, brother. I told you the 80s were horrible. This looks like a fake newspaper, so I'm assuming, yeah, this one was special because my brother and I had these newspapers made, and I think it was in Virginia. Yeah, it was in Virginia City, Nevada, and it was just fun. And we didn't know that anything like this was even possible back then. And now we can print one out on a computer. but it's still a special thing to me. My dad used to have this article in the newspaper, and this is called "I Bet You Didn't Know," and he would have these little facts and stuff that he would put out there. And he also was on at the drive-in. This is when he was at Janway Ford, but we would have the drive-in movies, and we would be playing on the playground before the movie, and then they would start showing previews, that's the word, I'm tired, and we would climb to the top of the tallest slide and look at the screen because my dad was up there on a commercial and we thought he was a movie star. I think he thought he was a movie star too. And in kindergarten, I did an art thing, and so this right here is from the art contest, and I won first place, and it says Robbie Griffith, and Janelle Kinney, Shelley Metcalf, Paul Denna, Shay Shane, and Amy Laux. Wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, mine was it was a Halloween theme, and mine had pumpkins that had bat wings for some reason. I remember that, but I don't remember much about it. Oh, this is that newspaper that my dad also had showing our sculptures. Mine is that weird hairless one at the front. John's is the middle one with the beard and stuff, and then Lori's is the one on the end that kind of looks like Asian. That was pretty amazing. We did those with Gloria Kovac, who was a friend of mine. She had used to be an art teacher, and then her daughter was killed in a car accident before we met her. Her name was Gloria Kovac. She went by the name Glow. She would sign her paintings Glow. She was also a painter. She had worked at some of the schools in Ukiah after they moved up there, and then when her daughter was killed, she just checked out of the world. But she was my mentor and taught me a lot about life, really. And I always felt so bad for her. I'll probably talk about her more when I get to that era of my life in my What Happened videos that I'm going to be doing. This crazy looking book, this is Dee Snider. I'm not sure if anybody's going to still know Dee Snider whenever you watch this, but he was the lead singer of Twisted Sister, and he was kind of my idol for a long time, and I know it looks weird to see that guy as your idol, but he did a lot of stuff. He fought against the establishment and helped fight against the attacks on heavy metal and, you know, things like that. So it's kind of a weird thing, but anyway, he was important to me at the time. I never did get to see him in concert. The one time I was going to see him, they canceled because he had developed throat polyps or something. Some of these things, I don't even know where I got them. Like this is the coronation of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. I have no clue where I got it. It's not really anything special to me, so I'm going to have to find out. Speaking of Dee Snider, this was one of their first albums. This is a picture disc, and it's a record, but it has printing on it, and so you can still kind of see the lines and stuff. And I know audiophiles out there are like, oh my gosh, you just scratched it. Anyway, picture discs aren't really good sounding records. They're kind of meant to be cool, and it does have some of the best Twisted Sister songs on it, but anyway, it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm going to stick that in my box now too. I just missed a chance to get Dee Snider's autograph at the Fanboy Expo. Here's a drawing that Megan did. It's a dog. Megan is an amazing artist, and I think what her skill is that she had the patience to sit and do every little line. But anyway, that's that. I have so much random stuff in this box. Here's a box. There we go. These little things are discs, and not computer discs, but back in the days, in the 80s, this is from I don't know when. But they had these little discs that had negatives. And so, I'm not sure if you can see, but there are pictures on those little negatives. And they're very small, so the pictures didn't have great resolution or anything. But they were kind of a neat way to store negatives. So I've got this box of negatives, and as I look through them, I see things like, well, February 26th to March 1983. So that's disc 1. I must have gotten this for a birthday present. Easter. Trying to see what all these things are. Scotty's Castle, Death Valley, and Virginia City. Grand Canyon. Four Corners, Mesa Verde, Monument Valley. I wonder if I can still get these developed. Meteor Crater, Santa Cruz. I mean, this is like from the early 80s. Lori's birthday, tree decorating, John's graduation, Death Valley. I know, exciting, right? I'm reading you discs. Tom and Jesse, my dog Jesse, maybe. 1984, our family at the ocean with Tracy. Anyway, there's a lot of them in here, and I'm not sure what all of them are. Lamarck's baby, graduation. Wow, just thinking of this stuff. Family, ocean, playhouse, etc. Johnny and Ramona. And in the early 80s, probably, yeah, 82, I got these stickers, and so you may find some of these stickers and other stuff as well. Anyway, these things are special to me too. I think I'll leave these out with the pictures. That way I can find out if I can get some developed. If so, you'll probably see those as well. Bunch of just kind of random bags and stuff in here. I'm not really sure what all of it's from. A lot of pictures and negatives and stuff. There's another Ukiah highlight. I'm not sure if I'm in this one. It's got random weird facts and stuff in it. Let's see what else. Wildcat Voices. I must have saved it for some reason. Or someone did. Oh! Admired computer teacher accepts county tech position. Aww. Well, that's kind of sad. But that's me. And this is the April 2nd, 2004 edition of Ukiah Highlight. Back then, my good friend Tanya Sparks ran the newspaper. And then when I finally moved back to Ukiah High School, after I got back to Ukiah, after Tennessee, I worked with Tanya, and I came in one morning and there was a bunch of people in her room, and I asked how Tanya was doing, and they said, "You didn't hear?" And I said, "I didn't hear what?" And they said, "Tanya died." And she had been a friend of mine from kindergarten. We rode the same school bus out to Roded Valley, and so it was kind of an emotional, I won't say roller coaster because it was a crash. Shortly after that, I took a job over at Kelseyville. I just couldn't be at Ukiah High School anymore. My close friends were gone. It was a different place. And it's one of those, you can't go back home again. You can't. I went back and I thought, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back to Ukiah High School and I'm going to start where I left off and I'm going to make big things happen. And I got there and, my principal was gone and the assistant principals were gone, the counselors were gone. We had new administration and they didn't like the way I was doing things, and You know, it was like that special part of my life. My Ukiah high school years were gone. And I'm going to definitely do some time with that and maybe do some slideshows and stuff. This is going to be the most boring channel to anybody but me, but that's okay. If I ever get Alzheimer's or something, I can watch my videos and know who I am, or was. Anyway, so we have this whole big box of stuff. Again, mostly pictures. So I'm going to probably pause here and maybe dig out a box of stuff instead. And I think that would be more exciting to go through right now. And maybe I'll put my pictures in here as well. Alright, so I'll be back in a few minutes.